David, can you walk us through a little bit of a deep dive on someone we talked about last week, Keelon Russell, who kind of made some waves last week, but let's talk about his whole picture and what he looks like as a quarterback going forward. If you like what we do here at The Official, like and subscribe. David, take it away, Keelon Russell.
Yeah, Keelan Russell is on a pretty big ascension right now. Was formerly committed to SMU and recently flipped to Alabama. So he's committed to Alabama. He's quarterback 8 in the On3 industry overall rankings. Will probably move up higher. He's 55th overall. We actually have verified size data on him. He's 6'3" and 1/8, 182 pounds. His arm length is 31 and 7/8, 9 5/8 inch hand, and a 76-inch wing. So he's taller than I actually thought, that he's verified over 6'3". Pretty skinny guy, but an okay frame, I think, to fill out. I actually thought he was pretty comparable to Jaden Daniels size-wise as a recruit. I really love this run right here, where the way he kind of he juked that guy pretty nasty. He kind of got his whole body pointing towards in the middle of the field there and got him to bite. So he is an athletic guy. He doesn't have the greatest, although he has a pretty good 200 meter, it looks like 22, 31, 200 meter. He just started doing track this past season. I think he runs in the 4. I think he has a 4.67 40, so not amazing speed or anything, but he's pretty fast. And I would consider him a dual threat. While he doesn't have crazy production on the ground, he had 54 carries for 304 yards. I believe it was 6.5 yards per carry and 4 touchdowns. His 10% market share wasn't great either. But I just think when you watch him, he's better than that. I think it just has to do with kind of how their offense goes, and most of the time he's just going to sit back there and throw because he's pretty good at that as well. It would be nice. It would be nice though to see a little more rushing production as a senior. But I think he's got a good arm from all accounts from the Elite 11, like we previously discussed. He's going to have an NFL. I think he'll be at the thresholds for NFL standards, especially when he adds more weight, adds more muscle. He's got pretty good muscle definition. I think he'll be a pretty high responder in a college weight room. So I'm not too worried about his size. I mean, he is skinny, yeah. So you kind of worry about his durability a little bit. But I think I'll just keep it quick here. I think the thing that I like most about him, I think he plays instinctually. I think he plays sort of uninhibited, I love that in a quarterback. I just think he's a playmaker. I just feel like he's gonna be a problem solver, and so he just gives me confidence in that regard. I think you could knock his size a little bit and stuff like that, but I think he's gonna do really good with DeBoer. I think DeBoer will do good with it, his development, but like we saw with Michael Penix. So I feel pretty confident with him producing in college and I haven't exactly settled on how high of a draft pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if he worked and developed his way into being a first round draft pick at some point.
Okay. I mean, I think that's pretty glowing review actually, from our team, who is known to be a little bit more conservative, but David calling out possible first round pick for this guy. I really like what you said, problem solver. Haven't really heard that too much on this show, but that sounds like a great attribute in a quarterback. Matt, how are you feeling? Keelan Russell. I mean, that was some pretty high praise. Are you in lockstep? Are you a little more bearish? Doubt you're more bullish than that, but it's possible.
I wouldn't say more bullish, but I'm pretty high on too. He's currently in my top 5 QBs. I think you're looking at a pretty safe bet here as someone who can be productive pretty early in his college career, as well as having the NFL upside to go along with it. The real only drawback on him is the weight. I mean, outside that, the profile is pretty clean. I mean, he just won the Elite 11. His production's fantastic. He has all the physical tools you need. He hits our rushing standard. He's out there playing on a powerhouse team, but he's still made an impact to from where he could, because he's playing with like Caden Durham
Stars,
last
yeah.
year, Decorium Moore. Like he's only going to get so much rushing production on a team when Caden Durham's running for 2K yards, or whatever. So I just think he has a really good profile, and the weight is really the only thing that's going to be keeping people off of him. And I don't think it's that huge of a deal, but
I agree. I mean, I would not say 175 right now, maybe pushing 180. I'm not that concerned. I mean, the NFL has told us that they are not that concerned, I don't think, with QB weight either. I mean, Jaden Daniels still a string bean. I'm sure he's put on some weight since he was a freshman, but just went number 2 overall. Kyler Murray's gone number 1 overall. Bryce Young, number 1 overall. With some mixed results in the NFL, but I think they're telling us by their draft picks, if you produce, no one's really that worried about size anymore. So I don't think that bothers me. And we know it doesn't bother us in terms of production, rushing production. And I personally don't worry that much about injuries. Everyone's injury prone. It's the NFL, it's football. So I don't think I'm not that worried about projecting extra injury because he, is 10 pounds lighter than he could be. So all that sounds pretty good. I mean, I have to say, before the Elite 11, I was a little bit lukewarm on him, but he showed out in a controlled setting. We know he's kind of an improviser. As David said, we know he's a playmaker. He hits production thresholds. He hits offer thresholds. Like Alabama came calling for him. It's going to be a great offensive system, what we've known from DeBoer ever since he has been calling plays at Fresno and then Washington. They've been awesome offensively. I don't think there's any room to be worried about offense at Alabama. Defense, who knows what will come to pass in terms of being a well-rounded team that wins natties. I don't know, but the offense should be fantastic as long as DeBoer's there. So I think it's wheels up for Keelon Russell, and he's going to be probably top 5. The tape to me, and I will just put this cherry on top. Like, to me, the tape doesn't pop as much as some other guys I've seen the past few years. And I don't know if maybe I just expected more because of the ascension, because of Alabama and all this stuff and winning the Elite 11. It's really good. But I've seen guys who are a little more electric. I've seen arms that I like a little bit better. Sometimes his balls seem to flutter, a little more arc than I would potentially like in some situations. But everything else seems to be there. And honestly, if there's anything I'm not going to trust, it's my eyes over some other stuff. So, I think I'm in, and I think he'll wind up a top 5 QB for me, maybe even 4. I think my top 3 feel pretty strong right now, but he could be 4 for sure. And maybe by the end higher than that.